Oh, there it is. This
Okay,
angle
thank you.
is suggesting
That doesn't look like original equipment.
that it's replaced with a TV.
Yeah.
What more could you ask?
Yeah,
It's the American way.
virtual.
And he's not picking up now. Okay, please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Today is December 2nd, 2021. This is the Environmental Conservation Board. We have an agenda that we're going to follow. And the first item on the agenda is Anna Inzano, 188 Bullet Hole Road, the installation of 2 utility poles within the buffer. How are you, Paul?
Very good.
Identify yourself.
Paul Lynch, Putnam Engineering.
Sorry.
We presented the project, I think, back in October. Basically, since that time, we did meet with New York State Electric and Gas. NYSEG is going to install 1 pole on the opposite side of Bullet Hole Road, which is this location.
Uh-huh.
And from that point, we're on our own, so, as we knew we were going to be. So they gave us the maximum distances we could go, so we pushed that limit. We're showing 1 pole to come in at this point, which could be accessed by a boom truck with a 55-foot offset. And then the second pole would be located right here on the edge of the existing driveway. So I gave you 2 alternatives, because I think you wanted a contingency just in case we had a problem with one type of installation. So I gave you that. Excuse me. And I gave you some information on basically your standard boom truck and that kind of stuff.
Where's that, in the plans?
It was in the handouts that I submitted.
This handout, I didn't see, all I saw is the permit application and a little engineer's report, that's about it.
There was a whole section on,
I saw it in there, Rose's email, so
Yeah.
it might not be here, but he definitely submitted it because Rose had it in there. What's the papers on the bottom? There's a whole bunch of them. These ones, October 11th. No, that's too old.
Oh, here, maybe?
Yeah, give me one of those. Yeah, that's it. No, they're in the file.
yeah, so we also included the matting in case we had a,
Yeah, man, I was gonna ask about
yeah,
that.
so I included that, cut sheets for the matting. And I gave you a sketch would be that we would just come right down through here. We would just obviously cut down the minimum amount of shrubs that we have to. Install the matting, get in, dig our hole, get our pole set, and get out. But that's the
You're gonna hand dig
contingency
that
plan.
hole?
Excuse me?
You're gonna hand dig the hole?
Yes.
Okay,
I think this is fine.
yeah, I'm fine.
Those are the 2 things we asked for from last time. NYSEG approval of the plan, so we had an idea what they were going to be doing, and then contingency plans should NYSEG decide to use heavy machinery in the area. But it looks like they're not going to be going in there anyways.
And you're gonna restore the area?
Correct.
Back out of the area? All right. Anybody else have any questions?
I see this. Oh, you got a copy.
Is this for a new house?
Yes, actually, the house has been installed. The house is in. There was an issue with the fact that the property owners who own this lot, they own the property that this portion of the driveway is on, and they would not allow the Inzanos to bring their electric in that way. NYSEG would have to get an easement from them. They were unwilling to do it. So now we're stuck. We got to
Yep.
install poles.
Okay, all right, so then, I'll make a motion to accept the application. It'll go on the clock, as submitted for this with the following conditions: that prior to and post work, we have the wetland inspector come out there, take a look, make sure everything's put back the way it is. And if there's any changes, please advise the board in advance.
Okay.
So do I have a motion to accept the application for Anna Anzano with the wetland inspector requirements. Do I
I'll
have a
make
mo-
that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, ladies.
Give me all the papers back. The papers.
Papers, please.
The papers, please. Okay, next item is 12 Baldwin Lane, addition and expansion of existing septic system. Could you please state your name and who you're here to represent?
Bob, before we begin, I'm recusing myself from this matter.
Okay,
Yeah. Willie Besharat representing the owner. We were here in front of the board the last time, and there was some comments and suggestions which we took in consideration and addressed. Nick has came up with the right idea, and we addressed that with the septic layout. We have had a soil scientist, Steve Coleman, come and flag the wetland for us. The surveyor picked those flags up.
do I have the latest drawings here?
The idea is you should have them in the file, correct? What's on here is what you have there now. We actually put both lines, the existing from the map, that we approximate location, because the map is not really very accurate, the town map. On a small scale like this, we have rotated the septic system to move it away as much as possible outside the wetland buffer, the wetland. We addressed all the other comments such as the well cap.
Well, the well cap was, we were looking for a sequence of construction.
Which we added that to the plans. We updated that to include the construction of the house.
We are looking for the well installation procedure,
The well installation,
procedure.
no, the well capping procedure.
Then there was a well driller's license.
Well, the well driller license is not determined. We don't have a well driller yet, so we
Well,
cannot
you're
give you.
closing out the well. Then why would I put a well driller's license here if you're not drilling a well?
We are drilling a well, but
You're right, you're drilling a water well, right?
correct, yes, yes.
So I need his license.
We will, when we find out who's going to be doing it, we will be more than happy to submit it to the board. As of now, there is no. We can't say, okay, Norman Anderson, hey Norman, come give us the well, and we don't know if he's going to end up drilling the well or not. But the well will be, the well driller license will be submitted to you as soon as we find out who the well driller is going to
Well,
be.
it's gonna be contingent on your permit then, right? When it
No
issues.
problem at all, you know, I mean, but like I said, we don't know who the well driller is.
Okay, and then you also owe me a well closure procedure.
That detail here. That is as from the New York State Health Department procedure for the well closure.
Okay. And you're gonna cut the casing down to 24
They will,
inches.
exactly.
Okay, and which type of grout are you using?
Well, probably the cement, concrete grout, they use the same grout that they use for when they place the well casing.
Well, the well casing is different than the well screen, right?
And-
So there's grout and then there's grout. So there's concrete grout and then there's well closure grout.
That's exactly what is going to be used. It's going to be done professionally.
I'd like a spec on the well grout. And the sand.
Okay.
I mean, it's the water table. That's, that's.
What do you
what
mean,
we're
just
here
like
to
an
look at.
MDS type thing?
Yeah, the MDS or the catalog cut.
We'll be more than happy to
Nicole,
submit
you
that.
agree? Okay, you show the 100-foot buffer on here?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's
right here.
Just did the reflagging
Yeah.
This is the reflagging of
with the wetland map.
Uh-huh. The original, this is the new.
Did you send this to the wetland inspector to take a look at the site? Because I drove by the site,
Yes,
and it's, you're clearly in the, I mean, there's new growth growing there. There's clearly, you know, you're in the wetlands. I think one of the other things we're gonna ask is that on the wetland buffer, I'd like, wetland signs placed every 25 feet
No
across the
problem.
entire 100-foot buffer.
no problem at all.
How are they gonna, is it treed there? Is there tree, is there?
No, they'll
enough-
put on stakes. And then the trees, here's the other question I have with the trees.
Okay, if you notice on the plan, those are the trees as located by the surveyor. This property that has the existing house, this was the lawn of the house in the back. There aren't that many trees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees that they were cut already.
But,
And we proposed
but
six.
Willie, the whole area was clear cut.
No, there was no trees on it. It was a clear, there was nothing but a lawn back there. There was no trees there. The original, these are the trees as per the surveyor. You know, he located those trees. Prior to this, we had the trees located when we did the topography on it. This area had absolutely no trees whatsoever cut in it. None, zero.
Okay.
Okay? That was the lawn for this house.
Do you have is there a full area of disturbance calculation on here?
It should be. Yes, it's up here. 19,676
So you need a SWIP.
We are working on the SWIP. We will be working with that with the town engineer on
Okay.
getting an approval on it, yes.
Well, it has to go to DEP or DEC, right? Or just the town engineer?
The town engineer. But also, after the town engineer approves it, we get the MS4 signed by him, and we always file notice of intent on this with the New York State DEC. That's common practice on all SWIP with disturbance more than 5,000 square feet.
Looks like you got almost all of the all of the field for the
It's all within the, most of it's
It's in
in
the
the
buffer,
buffer.
The
right.
fields
Some
are
of it
in the
in-
buffer, but completely outside the wetlands.
But then you have the
The
expansion.
expansion area, but if that ever gets used, I mean, I had never seen the wetlands be, you know, the expansion area ever gotten used.
Well, then you need to tell me the area inside the wetlands, and you gotta mitigate.
Well, so what
You gotta mitigate.
What do they put
2
in the
for 1.
expansion though?
Say that again? The expansion is in case of a failure of the septic system, you can use the expansion area to put the fields there instead. But often has been done where the area where the failure, if they determined that because of the soil failure, it was determined that you can replace the soil with a bank run and do it that way, or use the expansion area. It all depends on what they want to do. Often, like I said, the failure of septic systems, 90% of them is installation problem. It was not installed properly. I've been around this business for a very, very long time, and I had never seen a system fail because of bad soil.
So my question though is what you'll have to forgive my ignorance on this. What actually goes in there? Are you actually running pipes into the expansion area?
No, nothing. Absolutely nothing. The only reason why we went in there is because Putnam County, and Putnam County only, requires the placement of fill section to be both in the
So you're gonna
field
dig
and
the
the
area,
expansion.
you're gonna dig the area out.
No,
as the
no,
expansion?
as is, we're putting the fill section right on top of it. 2 feet of bank run is gonna go on top of that area.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, so you're putting there is fill going into that area though?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Correct.
Not broken
And that's to
concrete,
comply-
right?
No, it's gonna be bank run. It's
Okay, I
gonna be
need
You
pure-
don't
a-
need fill.
I need a certification letter of clean fill.
No.
Clean
This is
bank
not
run.
fill. This is bank run. The
Clean
health department
bank
comes and
run.
approve it.
Do you have the DOB the health department's approval for the septic system?
Yes, absolutely, we have
Is it in the file?
Oh, yeah, the health department completely approved this. And this was a joint review with the New York City DEP.
How old is this septic system? You have an idea?
This is a brand-new septic system we put in it. We're proposing a brand-new septic system in
Brand
there.
new.
And it has been approved by the health department. And by the way, the health department, something just started because of this case. They started to ask all engineers to make sure that you are not near the town wetlands. The town of Carmel is the only town in the Putnam County that has local wetlands map. We just did a Board of Health approval up on Coral Drive off of, Secord Road, what's that road by the church there? I'm drawing a blank.
Brian Pond Road?
No. Brian Pond. Well, anyway, there was, Joe Parvati called me and he said, Willie, make sure you're not near the town wetland. Take a look at the town wetland map. And now we have it in the office. We reference it at all times. And they're going to start doing that with everybody that does a septic system in the town of Carmel,
Awesome.
just to make sure. So it was all stemmed from this case because it was a question, and they went to the health department. The health department said, we do not recognize local wetlands as wetlands, only the state wetlands or federal if there are any. But now, from now on, they started now to get involved in this. Only in the town of Carmel, not the whole county. Because like I said, the only town in the county of Putnam that has a local wetland map is the town of Carmel.
Well, that's a good thing.
So,
But yeah, it did create precedence for this in the town of Carmel.
I'm happy to hear that. That's hopefully other towns follow suit, but it's not so easy for engineers working on this. However, I'm a little hazy on then what is actually happening past the wetland flags here. You're going to
That
be
is
bringing in bank run. You're saying, which is so. I mean, this is going to be a field of rocks, is grass.
Nothing, just a grass area gonna be. As a matter of fact, we're gonna
You
do
can't
it.
grow rock, you can't grow grass on rocks,
No, we're
right?
not, we're not doing rocks, we're doing bank run.
Bank run, right. So what are you gonna do, put a filter fabric and then backfill with topsoil?
No, we're gonna leave it alone and have it grow natural vegetations there. We're not gonna touch it, we're not gonna fertilize it, we're not gonna cut it, we're not gonna do anything with it. And we're gonna put, like you mentioned, Robert, we're gonna put the wetland signs alongside there that is.
Right,
No
where all
disturb-
you have your flagging here, along that whole backyard,
Yes.
that whole area,
Uh-huh.
you're, on his property, you're gonna put the wetland sign.
We're gonna put the
every
wetland
25
sign
feet.
right here,
Yep,
okay? Away from that, so nobody will go over there and no activities will take place.
and what are we gonna do about the area that you're disturbing in the wetlands? It's gotta go, you gotta do mitigation, right?
I don't know how much we're gonna mitigate, there was nothing in there to start with,
Yeah, but you're introducing bank run into the area, right?
which is a very well-drained soil, which will,
It's
will allow
mitigation.
for the rain to go down through it, and I think that's, in my opinion, it's basically good enough to maintain the functionality of that wetland. We're not inhibiting it by clay or putting a structure on it, or road or pavement or any impervious area.
You're saying it has drainage.
It's extremely well-drained soil that we added in there, extremely well-drained. That's the best drained
Do you know
soil
where
you
you're
can get.
where you're getting it from already?
There is a few places that we can buy it. There are many areas.
there's no,
Particularly, it's always mined from Dutchess County. There's a lot of bank run mines up there.
We'll get a certification.
We can get you certification
Yeah,
on it.
I'm thinking we're should require.
No problem. We'll get you certification on it. That's
I need a copy of the health department approval for the septic, it's not in the file.
I've been doing it for 40 years in this town.
Yeah.
My family's manufactured.
Okay.
I told you.
the
Okay.
no, the
It's
Board of
not
Health
in
approval.
here, though.
There's a couple of people that have it's all certified.
Bob, there's a Board of Health approval because they issued a building permit on it. But we can get you a copy
Okay.
of the
One
file.
at a time,
One at a time. There's no,
The Board of Health approval will submit a copy of it. We were never asked to submit it, but we can submit it. The building department has it. They have the original Board of Health approval
okay, but
from
it's not in
the,
my file, right?
nobody asked us to do it, so. It was never practiced,
the
but we will
copy of
submit
the
you a
NOV
copy
in
of it.
there?
It's not a problem at all.
What?
Is the copy of the NOV in there?
It was last time, I don't see it today.
Was it? I had on my notes that the NOV was not in the file.
There was a letter.
What do you think, Nicole, about the fill that's going into the wetland?
I don't know. I'm not. I just feel like, was there vegetation back there?
Only a lawn,
Only a lawn.
only a lawn. There was no trees, there was nothing in there.
What's there right now? Still a lawn?
There was lawn
No,
in,
it's
Right now,
dirt
we
now.
in the
did,
wetland.
you know, the topsoil was stripped from there, you know, to allow the installation of the septic system, because that's the proper procedure for it, and that's what happened over there.
Right, but then if you drive by the spot, now there's vegetation popping up out of the dirt, right, out of the soil.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that an indication of? I'm just asking.
Well, we definitely, you know, wetland vegetation, and that's what the
Right, you
wetland science
stripped-
is
you
based on that.
You backbladed the wetlands. So you gotta give me some mitigation.
We're not,
I think this is it. No.
okay, we'll do that.
This is just me. I know
No, listen,
that this it's gonna, it provides drainage, but we get a lot of rain here, heavy rain at times. Vegetation, it's a type of sediment. What's gonna prevent that from not running off somewhere?
It's secured, it's basically at the same level as, it's not gonna go nowhere. I mean, you know, if you want us to put a plant design, we were thinking of putting probably wild flower seeds that they grow in the wild, and that will completely hold it in place.
So some type of
Yes,
wetland
like I said, we
vegetation.
would gonna try, like, we're gonna put the signs, and that area is not gonna be touched, it's not gonna be part of the lawn, it's not gonna be anything, just leave it alone, and that's that.
Okay.
I kind of like what you're suggesting,
Yeah.
starting to suggest with it, which is throw, if things are starting to grow there already, putting in a wetland mix over there on top of the, if it's just sediment.
Okay. Actually, one of the things that we tried to do is we went to the Putnam County Health Department and asked for a waiver of installation of the fill section in the expansion area. This way we can restore it to back where it was, and their answer was absolutely not. We don't see any legitimate reason to do that. We said to them, this is what the deal is. Said, that's the town problem.
Huh.
None of those words, but that was that was what. Well, that was not what said, but that was what was implied. Like, again, I repeat, the Putnam County Health Department cannot consider the local wetlands, because they are the county and they represent the entire 5 towns. The only town that has it is the town of Carmel. So how could they treat different towns differently? And that is where they point. And I kind of see where they're coming from. You know what I mean? But now they're starting to do for the town of Carmel, to ask you voluntarily, can you please check the local wetlands, okay, and address them if there are any. And we already experienced the first project to come out of this deal. Because of this project in particular, this new rule is now being practiced in the town of Carmel.
okay, now, the rain garden calculations.
Yes.
Basing it on 2,600 square feet, what is that,
The additional impervious area, there used to be a lot of, you know, that there's a house and driveway was in there to start with.
so are you did it on the existing or the new?
The new, it's all, you
You
have
have to
to.
take into account the one-story frame, everything.
Yeah, well, what, the calculations were done based on the increase of impervious area, and that's the standard practice for it. That's across the board, across the state.
And what is the size of that dwelling?
Well, the calculations that were done,
Because it just says 2,600, I don't see.
that's the
I
increase.
don't see where where you come up with that 2,600. That's my problem. It's just, you put a number here of 2,600, but I don't see the math.
2,600 square feet.
I see that I'm fine with, but I don't see how you get to the math. They also have to be submitted to, the town engineer.
The town engineer will approve that, and we will talk to him about it. I'm sure there'll be no issue with it.
Well, I'd like to see the math, how you get to that 2,600.
I mean, you want me to like to break it down and say, well, this is.
Well, yeah, the roof is this, how you made your assumptions. I mean, I could pick a number up and say 3,000.
But that number was picked from the calculations of the numbers. I mean, we go on the AutoCAD, we'll put an outline on the new impervious area, and boom, it pops up the number for us. You know, that's how it's done now. But we'll give you a breakdown, no problem.
You put the assumptions on the sheet when you.
This
make
is
it.
not an assumption, no. This
you
is
put
not
down-
an assumption.
You're not letting me finish,
Mm-hmm.
is when you, and you know this because you're a licensed professional, is that if I have a number at the final number I want to get to, I say area 1, 12 by 12, area 2, 20 by 20, and then add up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comes to the magic number.
We will submit that to you, that's not a
You're gonna
problem.
need to submit those to the engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, over worse.
So if I'm not mistaken, in order for us to accept the application as complete, these are the following things that are still outstanding.
Okay.
I have one more question.
Sure.
Are you using equipment on this site? Like a backhoe or something?
Yes, they will be used to install the septic system.
Yeah, I need a
correct.
fueling, machine fueling plan.
We have it put over here, the
Staging area.
equipment staging area, which is where the fueling will take place and the storage will be over here.
Okay, so you need
And
to.
there's a spill kit also near.
No, I see that, but yeah, I need a fueling plan. That fueling will not be done in the wetlands.
A note for it,
You
is that
know,
on
you've
the map?
had it.
Yeah, I think it may be on here. All right, well,
Well,
looking
I'm
for it.
reading right now.
That's
Okay.
okay, yeah, I see it.
The fueling will not be done on site, yeah.
Beautiful. So it was, the items for us to accept the application complete, was math of the 2,600 square foot, the breakdown of that.
Uh-huh.
And submitted to the town engineer for approval.
Right, that's for the, right,
That's for the rain garden.
rain garden approval. Well,
Well,
we can
Nick-
accept it as complete
Nick-
without the approval, right? That can go into.
Nick, if you
But we
excuse me
still
for 1
can't
second.
approve it because we don't have the SWIP.
Okay, excuse me 1 second. We are going through the process of doing the IPP, the integrated plot plan with the town engineer that will cover the rain garden, will cover the calculations for the impervious area, et cetera, et cetera. That will be all part of it. So the SWEP approval, which is the integrated plot plan, that's one of the rules in the town of Carmel, it covers all these items. But I will break it down, the area, that's very easy to do. It's really literally like, we get a little bit lazy with the computer, just put a polyline around it, click on it, oh, how much is the area?
Got it. So Bob, what I was saying though was, this is for getting the application, accepting the application is complete. We can't approve the
can't.
application.
These
But it
missing
can-
a lot of stuff.
Like
Right.
what? I'm looking
I
at the
agree.
stuff that's
So these are
missing.
I
things
can't,
that's
yeah,
missing.
you gotta submit the stuff and then we can approve the application, approve the application to be posted. I can't accept the application tonight.
Why can't you accept the
Because you're
application
missing
tonight?
too much stuff.
Like what? I'm looking at the
I
stuff that's
need the
missing over here.
wetland,
It does not.
I need the mitigation of the wetlands.
Okay.
How are you gonna address that? I need the information on the expansion area, how you're gonna do that, the restoration, the mitigation. I need a copy of the health department memo.
The copy of the health department, I don't think
We've had it in every other application we've had.
All I'm saying to you, this property is a different situation. There's a valid building permit on it that was stopped. And in order for the building permit to be issued, there, we submitted the originals of the health department approval to the building department, which is, I think, is part of the whole entity that we're dealing with right now, including the ECB is part of it. Now, we will submit a copy of the Board of Health approval for the file of the ECB, and we have no problem with that whatsoever. We were never asked to do it, and that's why, but we have no problem submitting it. That's the
Well,
easy
that's
part.
because here's the thing, right? So last time you were here, you rotated this septic system 180 degrees, roughly. Right?
Well,
Or
no,
90
we were
degrees.
about 80 degrees, 70
Whatever,
degrees,
it
yeah,
doesn't make
okay,
any
whatever,
difference.
yeah.
So it's changed, right?
I had to push it outside the wetland.
Right, but it's changed,
Yes.
right? So did that have to go to the health department?
No, we are still within the area of the deep hole test and the percolation test, and that's field condition. That will always gets addressed with the as-built, the final as-built of the septic system. Almost 100% of septic systems are never in the same rotation as they were approved. Okay, and that's why they require an as-built at the end to show where the fields are in relationship to the house, to the well, and everything else before they give them the final approval of the septic system.
Fine with that, but I need a copy of the approval from the health
We will
department.
submit that to you with no problem. I'm just asking you politely here and begging you to
you have
accept
to
the
beg.
application.
This is not a
We will
beg.
submit all that stuff, and, we're fighting the weather here, with the frost and what have you, and we already been delayed. The last meeting was
We didn't
canceled.
cause the delay. I didn't cause the delay.
The board
We did not
canceled the
cause the
meeting
delay.
from the last meeting.
Yeah,
It
we
was
did not-
canceled. There was no quorum, so, like.
Well,
then
yeah, you're right, there's no
declined it.
form, but if we had followed the rules and somebody had done their due diligence and
We
checked
did,
the town
this is one thing I want to
wetland
address. Everything that was done in here was done by the rules. It went through the health department approval with a joint review with New York City DEP. The deep hole tests were witnessed, the percolation tests were witnessed, and we got a legitimate approval
Fine,
that the Board of Health refused to draw back. Let me finish. We went to the building department. We applied for a building permit. We got a building permit from the building department too. Now, there was an oversight on somebody. I don't want to point fingers at anybody. Okay, there was a mistake done here, and we had to rectify it. And we said voluntarily would be no problem. We'll take care of it. We'll do what we have to do. It's no problem. Okay, but now because of that, everything that have once the ground freezes.
But you
boom, we are dead.
can't, even if I accept the application today, you gotta wait 30 days until it's advertised.
And that's fine.
Number one. Number two is, I can't issue the permit to you until the SWIP's approved, right?
Okay.
So that's wherever that is, okay? Then I have to, you still owe me the letter, which is not a big deal. The wetland signs, it's not a big deal, we'll add that into the permit. The rain garden calc submitted to the town engineer for approval, that's not an issue. The letter of clean bank run shouldn't be an issue.
Why should it be an issue?
I said it shouldn't be an issue.
I apologize. My mistake.
And then I need your mitigation plan. And I mentioned that, if you read the notes, because I know you took notes last time, that I wanted some information on how you're gonna mitigate the area in the wetland that you're gonna dig in. So, I'm just trying to follow the rules here, Will.
Bob, I completely understand your position. Please, the frustration that with this case, and I feel sorry for the client, it's really like, there's no sweat off my back, okay? It's like, if it wasn't for the winter situation, whatever it is, we will not be feeling very strongly about it. And I do respect your position, but please.
Apparently you don't.
No, I apologize. No, I do. I really do. But like I said, this is a unique situation because of the town of Carmel is the only town that has the local wetlands. We're not dealing with the state or federal
Yeah, but
wetlands. That would have been dealt with at day one.
How many years have you worked in this town.
It's since
done-
1984, and let me
Right.
tell you something, we
How many
never
times
had
have-
to deal with
How
it.
many times have you been before us, this board?
For local wetland?
For local,
No.
state,
For-
city,
A
whatever?
lot of times.
A lot of
But
times.
for local, I've never been.
Right, so a lot of times.
So I guess we're gonna have to do what we have to do.
So, I mean, before you go, we'll just give you, I mean, so, you tell me.
I didn't see anything in here, aside from what you would be willing to do for mitigation, that would force us to not not let us
Accept that.
advertise should you get in all of the information requested by the point of next week when we'd have to advertise. But the disturbance within the wetland and what you can do to
The
mitigate
mitigation of
it,
that.
I think it's a tough. You're in a tough situation. You have a property that has a lot of wetland on it. I know you've done a lot already to try to rotate that, and I saw the trees come up here from what you had, as a mitigation for cutting down the trees. I think if we can come up with personally, I'm fine if we can come up with a decision that is amicable to this board for mitigation.
Okay.
And you're fine with that, and you can get all of the information in by next week before it needs to be advertised. I don't see why we couldn't accept this.
Okay, I tell you what.
Personally, this is my personal
Yes, listen to me.
opinion.
I'm willing to do this. By Monday, we will have all these items addressed and submitted to Rose by Monday. Hopefully by then she'll be over her daughter's wedding and she'll be back to work. By Monday, we'll have this, which is before the deadline for the advertisement. If that stuff is not there on Monday, then don't advertise it. How's that? Is that fair enough?
That's for me. I mean, I'm not speaking for the entire board. However, I still think that the biggest elephant in the room with this is what mitigation can you do for the. I mean, so that was another problem. Is I don't actually know how much area is specifically in the wetland versus just the buffer. Namely, where you're putting the forgot the name of it. Bank run fill, where you're putting the
I
bank run
would
fill
say it's
within the
about
wetland.
under 1,000 square feet of area within the wetlands.
So then you gotta fix 2.
Okay.
I think that if we can figure out a way to put what one of the suggestions Nicole had was a wetland mix on top of the bank run fill
That's
that
absolutely,
takes,
we will do that.
meaning that actually grows there. It's not just we're putting seeds down and and calling it a day.
You have to put topsoil.
Topsoil to protect the- yeah.
Filtration.
Right.
The fields are trenches, and that's where.
Are you digging a trench in the,
Yeah,
in the overflow?
In the bank, no, it's just going in the background, and that's where the trench is.
Well, because then if you put the
Not
bank,
in
run-
the-
if
I
you
think
put the bank run
that's
down,
what
you're
we
gonna
do,
have
is
to
the
put,
topsoil
you're gonna have
and
to
the-
put
It
filter
doesn't go
fa,
in the expansion area. It's in the overflow.
you're gonna have to put filter fabric in because
You put a filter
otherwise,
fab- you always-
right, so I need specs on the filter fabric
For what? Filter fabric where?
for the, over the bank run.
You gotta,
Over the bank run?
Yeah, don't you put filter fabric?
no, you put
That's,
fabric over
no,
the
we
field.
put that only over the fields. I cannot put it over that. No, filter fabric cannot go over that.
If you're putting
Oh,
bank
can I
run,
go under
if
it
you're,
either?
if you're putting bank run
Are
in
you
over
familiar
the,
how a septic is built? I can tell you how it's built in two minutes. Very simple.
it goes into a tank,
It's 2 foot there, and effluent comes out, the solid stain.
correct,
That's what gets pumped out every couple of years.
right,
When the liquids come out, they go to a distribution box.
correct,
And then it goes to a field. The only thing a field is a perforated pipe.
correct,
Surrounded by gravel, 2 feet wide. It's a trench that's dug 2 feet wide.
right,
A foot deep in gravel, all right, above and below. The effluent goes out in here and disperses in the perforations of the pipe into the gravel. Every 6 foot on center is one of these fields. Once a field is put in and is content closed, you put the filter fabric to protect the gravel from being clogged. You don't
Excuse me,
want-
let me
but I'm
just-
not, my question's not about, I know how a septic
On the
is
top,
construct,
when you put the bank run in, you don't put fabric on top of that. You put topsoil on top to grow grass.
The filter fabric goes over the fields
but
and the fields
but the
only.
bank run is is stone, correct?
No, it's
Bank run
dirt.
is gravel.
It's dirt that has some gravel in it.
Very
It's
fine.
actual
Very
dirt, and
fine.
you're gonna grow grass
Sand
on
with
it.
gravel.
Okay, I was thinking of more.
No, it's not gonna be full gravel, no,
The
no.
technical name
Yeah,
is called a
bank,
bank.
yeah.
When they dig into a mountain.
Yeah.
Right.
It pours out, that sandy gravelly material is called run of
Yeah.
bank.
And this is what we're gonna do.
But basically.
Over the area, the expansion
Yeah, I know,
area,
It's covering everything.
over the expansion area, we will add topsoil, and in that area, we will grow a wetland mix on top of that. Okay, we have no problem. We were thinking of wildflowers, whatever, but we can get the wetland mix and do that instead. We have no problem with that. You know, it's either type of seed will be fine.
So the items I see right now are provide the specs on the grout sand for the well closure, provide the well drill information when you have it before you start the work. Installation of wetland signs 25 foot along the buffer, the 100-foot buffer. So I don't know, what, the width of the property, whatever that is. Need a copy of the approved SWIP. Need details for the expansion area mitigation, 2 for
Well,
1.
we can put 6 or 8, which would be about 15 to 20 foot on center instead of 25
That's
foot on
fine,
center.
that's fine. Copy of the health department approval letter. Copy for the letter for the clean fill. Provide the rain garden calcs, how you determine them, and you need the town engineer approval. And the wetland mix in the expansion area, is that it?
That sounds it.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff for
I understand.
Monday.
We-
And you still can't start because you don't have an approved
We
SWIP.
understand, but we're trying to get as much as possible done now, this way.
Well,
we
this
can
would
beat the
be
weather.
your approval would be contingent
Upon all
upon the
that stuff.
SWIP, upon the approval of the wetlands.
Completely-
You have to
completely
submit a plan
understand.
for the mitigation.
We will
So
submit
that needs
that.
to be a note on here about the wetland mix and about the flagging. So that needs
We
to be
will
a
add
little
all these
block.
notes that we just spoke about, they'll be added to the plan, and we'll give you a cover letter to cover that.
So there's one other caveat that I'll say, which is should anything that is submitted that you have here require a change in the plan that
Correct,
that we have here, we will not be able to.
Advertise.
Right.
Okay.
So that is an important factor. Like
Okay.
what I mean, material change. Like adding notes on here about what we've talked about today is not a material change. What I mean is like if you start rotating this, if we need to expand the size of the rain garden because it was a miscalculation, like we have to come back and have a conversation. We have to talk about that.
Completely fair. Fair enough.
When do you think you might get the SWIP?
The swap has been done already, that we need to get it to the town engineer as soon as you guys, if you accept the application, then I can start it with the town engineer, and usually within a couple of weeks, he's good with that. Rich is pretty fast that way. Alright.
What do you?
No, that's it.
All right, so we'll accept the application
Thank
with the
you very
following
much.
conditions. I make a motion to accept the application with the following conditions. 1, provide specs on the grout and sand for the well closure. Provide the well driller information prior to drilling of the well. Installation of wetland signs 25 foot center on center along the buffer across the entire width of the property. I need a copy of the approved SWIP. Need details of the expansion area mitigation, 2 for 1, submit plan for mitigation. So that only takes 1,000 feet, that topsoil. Now you gotta figure out what to do with the other 1,000 feet that you owe me.
He's not removing wetlands though.
But
he's
he's-
disturbing
he's
it.
disturbing.
Yes, exactly.
It's
I'm not-
mitigation.
Yeah, but we
Check the-
usually
check the
mitigate
code.
when we put
I know.
impervious area in the wetlands. That's what it's usually the mitigation is done to replace the wetland that we inhibited, the functionality of it with the impervious area. But when there's a disturbance, I can't see that we need, but I mean, we'll figure out a place I want to do the calculations exactly where it is now that we
Yeah.
know those numbers, where we're gonna be with it, and I'll see exactly, maybe, I'm just guesstimating it under 1,000, I don't know exactly how much it's going to be. You know, we mitigated.
Whatever it is,
Okay?
all right?
And I will do that. I tell you what, this whole area of the expansion area will receive the topsoil and the
Whatever you wanna
wetland.
do, submit the
That
plan.
will do that. I think that will be fair enough
You
for
have to
everybody.
submit the plan.
You got it.
Copy of the health department approval letter for the file.
No problem.
Copy of the letter of the clean fill that you're gonna use on the stuff.
That
Provide the-
that we can get, because we
Right.
know where we're getting it from, we can get their analytical and, because usually the health department requires that And they have certain approved sites and people that they deal with.
Provide rain garden calcs to the town engineer for approval.
Uh-huh.
The wetland mix in the expansion area, you'd have to, put that on a note, show a plan on how you're gonna do that. And then any changes to anything that's been discussed here, we meet again in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to accept the application?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I like your idea, by the way, of the, of putting the wetland mix on the entire expansion area. not
Exactly,
just the
and
plan.
we will move the flag, the signs even far away from the flagged area. There's no reason for it, that area. Once it's done that way, it's done that way.
Fine.
All right?
And also, just one idea is, one of the conditions of the permit is gonna have, prior to start of work, you're going to need the wetland inspector out there to make sure that the silt fence is up, everything
Yes.
else, and then upon completion,
We have a note
the
on the
wetland
plan for that.
inspector comes out again.
With one, all right? Thank you so much, appreciate it, have a very nice
See you
evening.
later.
Enjoy the upcoming holidays.
You as well.
You too.
I will talk to you soon, we'll have the stuff to roll. Thank you very much.
Good night, good night.
Have a good holiday.
Thanks for your explanation, by the way,
Thank
of
you.
the, how it's installed. Never heard of it.
What?
Stream bank run?
Run the bank?
Run a bank? I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen soily, sandy, gravelly soil, but
Sure.
We used that a lot in the septic repair program.
Did
Yeah,
you?
It was neat, oh, yeah, yeah. It's good stuff. It's
should've
good for
told
a
me
field.
should've given me the high-low on that one.
What?
Okay,
You
so,
should've, you should've told me to do that. I would. Yeah, no, I indicated that it's very fine. It's great for a field. It really is, especially have crappy soils. Good. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
So, you had a good day today, huh?
We're still on.
Hold on.
We're not done yet. All right, so we have meeting minutes we have to approve. This is for October 21st, 2021. The only one that cannot vote is Mr. Barnett. So do I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes on October 21st, 21 as written? Do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Well, that's it. So do I have a motion to end the meeting?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night.